I'm too sexy for my cosplay. I'm too sexy for my cosplay. On Cosplay Cafe. Yeah, I'm a cosplayer. You know what I mean. And I do my little turn on the con floor. Yeah, on the con floor. Oh, on the con floor. Yeah, I do my little turn on the con floor. And I'm too sexy for my cosplay. I'm too sexy for my cosplay. On Cosplay Cafe. And I'm too sexy for this song.
Sorry, we're having some test.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Cafe. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Tuesday afternoon. We're going to have a great episode for you. And first, enjoy this little ad roll.
Pokeballs by Crayle is your one-stop shop for handmade magical creations that celebrate all the Pokemon universe has to offer. Available on CrayleVanest.com, that's CrayleVanest.com, and possibly coming to a con near you.
One nightmare destroyed Aidan O'Donnell. Aidan Gray, aka Scorcher, was born out of those ashes. The Forces of Nature trilogy is about the destructive powers of having superpowers that you don't understand and can't control. It's about redemption, about finding love and finding yourself. You can find the first two books, Scorcher and Thin Ice, online wherever books are sold. You can also pre-order the upcoming audiobook for Scorcher at www.kellyguentner.com. That's www.KELLYGUENTNER. All right, so this episode is a very special episode. We're going to talk about people whose partners made them do stuff, cosplay stuff. Get your minds out of the gutter. So Crayle dragged her husband into this episode. Like she has dragged him into some cosplay stuff. She's also dragged him into taking most of our photos. So whatever we don't have the budget for a professional cosplay or cosplay photographer, David's the one taking the pictures, or my husband Thomas. They are basically the silent partners behind Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. David does not really have an online presence besides the few pictures he shows up in for Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. And yeah, so he's a man of mystery. So feels special that he decided to join us. So welcome, David and Crayle.
Hi.
Hi.
You two are looking very cute.
I look super cute every time I dress up as Ramona Flowers. I'm like, why don't I just dress like this all the time?
You should. You should totally dye your hair that color.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but you know what? That's what wigs are for.
Exactly. And you mentioned getting our minds out of the gutter. Derek Spicer says, you merely adopted the gutter. I was born in it, molded by it. And if you know Derek, that I believe that. You know what?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it checks out.
He also says, it's Cravid, which is his nickname for me and David.
Which sounds like
he
a
does
special
nicknames for everyone and everything.
It works
sounds like
though,
a special
because
cryptid.
it's always your name that comes first, whether it's alphabetical or whatever. It's just how it always works out.
And I couldn't decide what to do, so I finally decided to go with my EV accessories, which I'll be wearing for Fan Expo when I help out with Crayle's booth. Because here's my nerd girl confession. I am not a Pokemon fan, but I have been dragged into it. I've become a Pokemon fan by proxy to the point that a couple years ago, so I befriended a friend's wife and she used a Pokemon picture to wish me a happy birthday and was like, I hope you get hugged by all the Pokemon. And my husband was like, why does she think you like Pokemon? I'm like, because I keep sharing Crayle stuff. And at this point, I do like Pokemon Blue Proxy, but everything I've learned about Pokemon has been against my will.
I know the feeling.
This episode should just be called Crayle Made Me Do It.
That is absolutely the theme. And you know what? That's okay because we love you. And I did not have time, but one of the reasons I didn't have many costumes to choose from is because people don't usually make me do costumes. I usually make them do costumes. And I did not have time to go through my pictures and pick all the times I have made people do costumes. You included.
You have made me do so many costumes. Although I did make you do Sailor Mars also.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly wasn't a Sailor Moon fan before me either. I made her.
Everything I've learned about Sailor Moon has also been against my will. I mean, okay, so I really did. I liked Sailor Moon when I was a kid, but I didn't remember like anything about it, except that I did like it.
And then I'm like, okay, no, Sailor V is before everybody else remembered their memories, but Sailor Venus is like after she gets to be like herself and not her alter ego who was trying to and Kelly's like, okay.
You're like, you cannot shorten it in typing. It just doesn't work. I was like, okay. Noted.
Thomas Gettner says, not a Pokemon fan. Gasp! Thomas is a Pokemon fan. He has one of my Pokeballs.
Yep. I will eventually pick a Pokemon.
And Derek Spicer says, throw a Pokeball at Kelly. Derek would throw a love ball at Kelly. He's smitten. I mean, he knows she's married. It's not like that, but he thinks she's very pretty and charming.
Yes, absolutely.
Mark DeJarnette says, bonjour from Fort Wayne. Can't stay up too late because of work. Have fun tonight. Beartic is the best Pokemon. Beartic is so great, and Cubchoo is so cute. Like, I can get over the fact that it has like a snot icicle because the rest of it is so cute.
Oh, Thomas is bringing out his Pokemon so we can show off.
Nice.
Oh, it's Alex. Alex underscore A.98 says, hey, it's Alex in a big mood the way you're feeling with Pokemon for eventually being a Zatanna cosplayer for Blue Beetle. Alex has not cosplayed DC, and then she sent me a message like a few weeks ago and was like, I'm finally going to do a DC cosplay. And so I sent her the cover of the Zatanna and Black Canary book, and I'm like, let's do this. I'm like, hell yes. I've been trying to get this girl to do a DC cosplay because I adore Alex. And I'm like, anytime I get the chance to cosplay with her, I'm like, heck yes. So this is Thomas's Pokeball from Crayle. This was like one of your early Pokeballs that you made too.
It was, yeah. It was also my third ever Pokeball repair because Kelly has children. So that was cool. You can't even tell anything happened to it. So
you did really well with it. Yeah, I think it was Isabel just expertly removed it.
Yeah, she like started disassembling it, and it was like, good on you for being inquisitive and all, but we kind of wanted to keep it in one piece.
Oh, my kids are very, very inquisitive. Yep.
Kids all the time are asking like if they open or if they can get the Pokemon out or whatever. And I'm like, you can, but it's really more of just a display item.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose of meticulously gluing everything in place. Yeah. Isabel today decided that we should have 3 children instead of 2. So that was her thing today. For Crayle already knows the story, but for everyone at home, my daughter is 13 and my son is 12. I am not having a third child, but she has gotten it into her head. She really loves being a big sister. So, yeah, no, that ship has not only sailed, it's at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean.
That was about what my sister said after 3 kids. It was, nope, that factory is shut down. It's done. Never again. No more. They're enough.
You don't want to be outnumbered. Like, good for your sister for getting to 3, but nope, 2 is enough. Also, I'm about to have 2 teenagers. I'm not going to have a baby. No. Nope.
Braden James Connors says, greetings, Phoenix community. I am an old school Mixmaster and Cyberpunk armorer looking to connect with similar creators. Well, you'll have to talk to David sometime after this because he's building Mandalorian armor and like wants to go to an armor party at some point and start building armor.
I also helped build your shield.
Yes, he built my Lagatha shield mostly. I did the finishing like detail work on it, paint and a rim and some stuff like that.
And you had fun basically beating it up.
Oh.
That video is on our TikTok, by the way, if you all want to watch it.
That was the most fun part.
It was fun watching. So I'll bet.
Yeah. So David, you're our guest today. And I would ask you some of our questions like, what is your #1 must-have crafting tool in your craft room? But you don't have a craft room. It's my craft room.
Well, but he works in the garage sometimes. So
yeah, what's your #1 garage helping me with cosplay, building your props tool?
Either a Dremel or an actual drill. That's what I use the most for everything. So you either need to screw stuff in or drill holes in stuff or anything like that. And the Dremels are good for getting in nooks and crannies and smoothing things out.
Makes sense. And David, how did you get into cosplay? Your partner made you do it. Hey.
So if you've ever heard our story of like how we became Phoenix Sisters Cosplay, also it comes up as an anecdote when Kelly's describing how awkward she is or how pushy she is about making people do costumes she wants to do. Do you want to tell it from your perspective this time?
Please do.
Sure, why not? So we had only been dating for how long?
Like maybe 6 months, maybe a little less.
Something like that. And she wanted me to come out to what is it, Metropolis for the Superman convention, and said, "Oh, and by the way, we need you for a cosplay shoot." I said, "Okay. Would you be okay if my friend and I were fighting over you without a shirt on?" I said, "All right." I was thinking, this is a little weird, but she's cute. I'll go with it.
She meaning Crayle, not me, because you hadn't met me.
No, I had not met you or seen a picture of you or anything yet.
Oh, yeah, it just occurred to me that you would have never even like seen a picture of Kelly because you don't really use social media that way. Like
you were like, sure, some strange woman who I've never like really even heard you talk about.
No, that was not true. He had definitely heard me talk about you.
Yeah, I knew your name, just not much else.
You took a lot on faith. Let's show off these pictures because you're telling this story right now. So yeah. You were just like, sure. Yep.
A few years and a few pounds ago.
Most people do not have quite such an awkward first experience cosplaying.
But you know what? Your like absolute first costume.
Yep. Was without a shirt.
Our photographer was just all about it. He was like, I love your tattoos. I love your look. You look great. He's like, I don't normally get to photograph men looking all sexy because it's all women. And he's like, not that I don't like women. He's like, but when it's only women, your portfolio people start to think you're great.
So yeah, you got to be like the 4th or 5th dude in his portfolio.
Yes, those photos are by Mark Schaefer, who we adore. Alex says, yes, sir, David, you're already awesome, bro. She also wants to cosplay Phoenix Shand herself. Oh, at some point.
That would be awesome.
That would be so cool.
Would be perfect as Phoenix Shand. Oh, I love Ming Na Wen. Like, I love her and everything. She's my favorite.
She's the only Mulan that I knew.
There is no other except for the one of legend.
There is no second Mulan in Ba Sing Se.
Exactly.
Derek Spicer. This is weird. She's cute, so I'll go with it. Oh man, that hits home.
I'm pretty sure I've also gotten that one over on Derek, where I'm like, I want you to do something. Like, I need a favor. And he's just like, oh, this is weird.
I am pretty sure at least some men have stories involving me that they can justify that way back in my younger days. Yep.
Thomas Guentner, Kelly's husband, says, I think my first time cosplaying was Cyclops 2 to go along with your movie Phoenix cosplay. That's so perfect that we both made our husbands do the same first costume.
It absolutely was. It was before, so it was before Thomas and I knew what cosplay was. Though it was more of a mutual thing because Thomas is a huge Cyclops fan. And we really wanted to do the comic versions, but back then, so first of all, I did not have sewing skills back then, really. And you could not really find costumes online, except I found the movie versions online on eBay through like a Chinese maker who, by the way, they were fantastic. They were really screen accurate. They were reasonably priced for what we got. Like they were good. But so we got those for Halloween, but they were like cosplay level. And then I also wore it down in Metropolis my first year. But yes, that was Thomas's first like proper cosplay.
I can't believe that's never come up. Did you just assume you had told me that before? Because it wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
I think so. Yeah, that is not the first time where we've thought we told each other or thought we read each other's minds. So yeah, yet another. I wonder. That is a really old picture. I have to see if I can find it. So you two talk amongst yourselves while I check Facebook.
Well, Derek Spicer says he thinks Deathstroke was his first, unless you count him painting his face red and black while wearing a hood for poor man's Darth Maul. And that does count. Face paint is like dedication right
also,
there.
Darth Maul is awesome.
So, that helps too.
Darth Maul is amazing. And yeah, face paint is so much dedication. I still don't like to do face paint.
Braden James Connor says, right on, Dremels and drills. I got an awesome Dremel scroll saw. Whole nother level. Do you know what a Dremel scroll saw is? Because I don't.
And I might need one in the near future.
I knew as soon as I saw somebody mention a power tool you didn't have, that you're going to be like, oh yeah, I need one of those.
Yep.
Another toy.
You've seen my dad's workshop. That doesn't happen overnight.
His dad has an entire outbuilding that used to be like a potter's room with a giant industrial kiln in it for the previous owners who, so there's like these giant 220 outlets and stuff already in there. He was like, oh, well, this is my wood shop now. But even when he lived in like a suburban neighborhood, he had like an unfinished part of his basement room that was just like a huge wood shop and metal shop. And he's always doing stuff with like circuits and tiny motors. Like,
I want to go to there. That sounds amazing.
Next time you come out, we'll go visit. It is impressive, especially because he got a sawdust control system going, basically with super vacuums.
So I can be out there without dying. Fun fact, Crayle's allergic to sawdust.
What aren't you allergic to?
Yes.
Also, this is not a great picture because back then, it was Halloween. We didn't take great pictures. But this is our first cosplay. And yes, it is from that movie that shall not be named. But you know what?
But
I
you
like
both
that
look
costume
good.
design.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, the costume design has never been a complaint I had about it. Like,
the costume design was the only good thing about that movie. And the fact that they nodded to the Juggernaut viral video, which is like one of the first viral videos, that I'm the Juggernaut bitch line. Juggernaut was horrible. Let's be real, but they did get that line in there. And if you all have not seen that video, are you old enough to be up this late?
That was from the early days of YouTube right there.
So early, like so early. It was like when YouTube was really first getting started, when there were like 3 videos on there.
That was right up there with like Sneezing Panda and the guy with the lightsabers who's spinning around and stuff.
Yeah.
YouTube has always belonged to the nerds. Anybody who tells you otherwise is in denial.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite costume that I've made you do?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I think Punisher.
You haven't actually worn Punisher yet.
I still like it.
He hasn't worn it to an event.
I wore it to Metro that one time.
Oh, you did. Yeah. You wore part of it.
I was afraid I was going to lose the shotgun because it is exactly like me to put it down somewhere and then just forget I put it down and walk away. Because we got a little toy shotgun for it. But I would definitely lose it immediately.
Okay, so what you're saying is we need to get pictures of you in Punisher.
Ooh, I could be Karen from the Netflix, like, New York Defenders.
Yeah, I can think of a few props we have around the house.
Because Karen carries a gun. Like, do you remember what gun she carries?
We'll find out.
Okay. He'll IMFDB it. It's fine.
That would be excellent. Like, that should be a Phoenix Sisters Patreon.
Oh, it should.
Yep. I'm voting for it.
I feel like my tattoos would actually be appropriate for Punisher.
Especially since in the Netflix verse, he was a Marine instead of a cop.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think in other ones, he was a veteran. He was former special forces or something.
He was a veteran in a lot of comic runs.
Yeah.
But he was like really recently a Marine.
In the Thomas Jane one, I think he was a Marine or something like that, and then went into DEA or something.
Mm-hmm.
Which I still love the Thomas Jane Punisher.
The movie?
Yes.
Back of the cereal box, it's probably Johnny says comic book Punisher has a long history with Jessica Drew, aka Spider-Woman.
Oh.
And then he did correct his spelling there, so nobody can call him a fake geek boy for spelling.
We knew what
Jessica
you meant,
Drew
Johnny.
wrong. Yeah,
we're not going to be sticklers for spelling here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I already have a Jessica Jones costume also, which is in universe. We could do a lot with that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mm-hmm. And Mark DeJarnett says, if you do a Punisher cosplay, I have a really good Kingpin cosplay. I love Kingpin so much. When Kingpin appeared in Hawkeye, I like screamed at the TV like nobody had spoiled the cameo for me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was Vincent D'Onofrio. And I was just like,
this is so exciting. He is so good as an actor that multiple times I don't know it's actually him.
Right? No, he looks like different to different. Like in what was he in Magnificent Seven?
Yes.
Yeah, look, you can't tell that it's the same person who plays Kingpin. Mark, you should message me after this because I think we're both gonna be at Indie Pop. So yeah, maybe we'll figure out sometime. I'll be working it, so I'll have to like, if we do a photo shoot with it or something, we'll have to rush and change right after the vendor's hall closes or something. But message me for sure.
Yes, this needs to happen. No, I'm sad I'm not going to Indie Pop.
Yeah, but
I already was.
Fan Expo.
I am excited about Fan Expo. Yes.
So, David's going to be with us on Thursday at Fan Expo. So if you're going to be at Fan Expo Chicago and you've been curious about the husband you keep hearing about but very rarely seeing until now.
Who does exist? Look.
I'm usually right off camera handing her tea or something.
Grabbing my hard line.
Or Or grabbing a network cable real quick.
Turning the AC down because I'm dying of sweat in my costume.
Yeah, stop in and say hi. Do you have a table number yet, Crayle?
I do. Yeah. I'll send it to you after this.
Well, do you want to say it on air?
I don't have it memorized. I have to pull it up every single time. I've done like 9 shows already this year, and I have 3 more.
That's fair. Okay. So check Pokeballs by Crayle, and Crayle will be posting her table number there.
But I'll have 2 tables in Artist Alley next to each other. So if you, Artist Alley is huge at Fan Expo, but still,
you'll be able to find her. Yeah, we'll make sure that information is posted.
Yeah.
Yay, Alex.
Alex says, yes, I'm going to be Evie O'Connell for Thursday of Fan Expo Chicago. So nice. You guys can be Evie O'Connell and Evie O'Connell.
But she'll be Evie on Thursday. So I'm going to be Evie/Evie on Saturday. I'm going to be wearing this with my Evie, one of my Evie outfits on Saturday, which is going to be super cute, I think, anyways.
Johnny, back of the cereal box, says, Crayle and Kelly's husbands and my wife are the real but fake spouses. Johnny's spouse is the ultimate one. I've never seen her. I've maybe heard a hint of her voice in the background of a phone call one time. Like,
she's Maris from Frasier. You've even stayed at his house and she was gone.
No. I had to cancel because I had a doctor's appointment get pushed up, so I didn't stay. I was like so excited to meet Johnny's wife. But Johnny has never met my husband either, and Johnny has stayed at my house. The last convention that I was at the same time as Johnny, Louisville PopCon, David left Friday night, and Johnny got there Saturday morning. Like, yeah. And like David works weird hours. So Johnny stayed at my house for a convention. It was Indie Pop last year. And they were just ships in the night.
You're like, I swear he exists.
Well, now we have video evidence. I didn't Photoshop him into all those photos.
I could be a deep fake.
I mean, if only I had that sort of digital skills.
Hey. The conspiracy theorists are going wild right now. If only our show was popular enough to have conspiracy theories.
Derek, start making up conspiracy theories. I'm cute. It's weird, but you'll do it anyway, right? If you're just now tuning in, that's a callback to earlier when David was talking about how I made him do his first costume. And he's like, well, that's weird, but she's cute. I'll do it. And then Derek said that was like a whole mood.
And on that note, we have reached the midway point. So it is time for the cosplay catwalk. So do you two want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I know we never make the guest first, but I like to pick on him. So stand up, dance around.
I was thinking you should go together.
Oh, right.
Do a little tango.
So
do a little dance.
So we need to take the headphone out.
Yeah. I was like, what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for something. All right. We're too sexy for
their cosplay. They're too sexy for their cosplay on Cosplay Cafe.
I'm not even wearing shoes.
I'm not either.
Yeah, it's hard enough to do that with only one person in front of the camera.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see how much room I left myself. All right. Too sexy for my cosplay. I'm too sexy for my tail. Cosplay Cafe.
The tail is so cute.
The tail is so cute. It's inflatable. And I didn't realize that until 20 minutes before the show. And I'm like, crap, how do I do this?
I'm like, why did I not know this? Apparently it's because you didn't know.
That's why. Yeah. Also, everything had tags all over it in the most conspicuous places. So I probably should have taken this out of the wrapper, a few days ago.
That's like, I could have taken that bodysuit you bought me out of the wrapper like months ago and then not found out as I was getting ready to do it that it had leather feet. Kelly
And the
bought me a
other-
bodysuit to be Aiden Gray, aka Scorcher, from her book. And it had pleather feet with super stiff pleather seams, like right at the edge of my toe. And trying to shove it down inside my boots was awful. And they were like the same width as like the calf part. So there was just all this baggy, gross pleather scrunched up in my boot. It was horrible. So
nobody would want that. Nobody.
I looked good. So I
look
suffered
gorgeous.
for that costume. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Phoenix Sis, SIS cosplay, because I suffered for that costume. It costs $1 to join.
Yes, you look.
Make it up to me how gross the pleather feet are.
Yes, please do.
And I took the pictures, so you know.
Yeah, so
yes, join Patreon.
Yeah, you looked fabulous. You brought my character to life. You really put a lot of love in there because you're my editor, so you know the scenes very well.
Right? Like I have never felt more prepared to go in and like sort of green screen background. I was like, what scenes do I want to do? I know what scenes I want to do, actually. It's fine.
Yep.
Like,
and I've got a Aiden cosplay of my own plan that is going to take a specific scene from the book with a different costume, and that's just going to be on our Instagram and Facebook. That's not going to be a Patreon exclusive.
but you're going to be so gorgeous because that dress looks so good on you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be a gold dress. So if you read the book, you know what scene I'm talking about. If you haven't, why not?
Braden James Connor says sharing the earbuds must be true love. You know,
Aww.
it feels like high school again because, you know, you were stuck by the cord when you like shared your iPod shuffle earbuds with your classmates. And I was like an emo scene kid in high school. And so when David like put on the like wristbands and the black shirt, I was like, man, in high school, I would have been so into this. And now we're sharing earbuds. It's like a whole another level.
It's
and
very,
you were both
like,
literally
late aughts.
cosplaying emo scene kids. So you know what?
We've talked a lot though about how if we'd known each other in high school, we probably would not have dated because I was a huge nerd emo scene kid and he didn't go to class. So like we could have gone to the same high school and never met. We could have met and I would have been like, what a loser skipping class. And he would have been like, what a loser going to every single class.
I was also never the emo scene kid, any of that stuff either.
No, you were like
My
one of those
husband
James
absolutely
Dean
would
teenagers
not have
smoking
dated me.
cigarettes in your leather jackets.
Pretty much.
My husband wouldn't have dated me in high school either. He was way too popular.
Aww.
And I was very, very nerdy. But that's okay.
Yeah. I think it's time for us to show off your photos. Are you ready to be embarrassed?
Well, does it matter?
No, it doesn't.
All
There's
right.
nothing embarrassing about them. He just doesn't like the attention. They're really good photos.
They are. Well, and we already did the shirtless one. So
Right.
That's
so the
true.
worst is over.
so this one's super cute.
So that's our Jean and Scott engagement photos.
So David, what did you say when Crayle asked you to do these? At this point, you were
I
just
mostly
like,
just wanted to know where and when because I knew that I was committed.
Well, we were engaged when we took these, and I was like, so we're doing our engagement photos as Scott and Jean. And he was like, are we doing regular ones too? Or we did do regular engagement photos. We actually ended up doing them way before we got around to this shoot. And this photo and our regular engagement photos are from SB Photography, which is Kelly's friend Cheryl's company. One of her photographers did our regular engagement photos, and Cheryl drove a long way to do these photos and family photos for me and my family. Like while we happened to be in Wisconsin Dells, it was not a short drive for her. So
yeah, like 3 hours, maybe 2.5, something like that. Yeah, she's committed.
mm-hmm.
And she's a good friend.
Yeah.
And she's talented.
Are you gonna explain?
I have to get close enough to see it. My eyes aren't that good.
And here,
That's your Lord
yeah,
Malice.
that was. So yeah, we took that at night in the backyard with a flashlight up my sleeve, and then Kelly worked her Photoshop magic, and it came out looking really awesome.
We were so worried that it looked like we were casing our own house because he was wearing this giant black cloak and we were in the backyard. What was it, 1 a.m?
Yeah.
And like with a flashlight. And we were even looking along like the windows on the first floor of our house. We were actually trying to find a power outlet so we could take like a ring light out there. And it just looked like we were casing the place.
On a side note, cloaks are actually very warm.
Oh yeah, it was January. It was January when we did this. So
yes.
Yeah.
I will say having a willow tree in the backyard makes creepy photos like this just that much
It's
better.
so good. Mm-hmm. Oh, and let's talk about the character.
So this is Lord Malice from the Nightwolf series. He is an evil vampire lord, and we did a cosplay contest back in February. The Cosplay Cafe did with the artist and writer, or maybe he's just the writer. Oh man,
he's the writer.
Right, he's the writer. He's gonna be so mad at me. Not really. He's so nice. But I made David do a costume for it because I make David tag along to do everything. And I was like, it's fine. You'll be wearing a hood. It'll cover your face. And then his face was visible in a bunch of them, but it's fine because his eyes are red. It's not recognizable.
Yeah, fun fact. That's not special effects. David's eyes just glow red at night.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Here in about 30 minutes, they're going to be changing and any minute now. That's
how I have better night vision than you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Terminator eyes. And this is this costume. This is Scott Pilgrim from Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I've been told I look kind of like Michael Cera, but that was like a long time ago.
You still look a little bit like Michael
Cera.
So
he's also now much older too. So maybe we look more alike. I don't know.
Ooh, does that mean there's an Alan cosplay in your future?
He doesn't know about Alan yet.
No,
oh man, we have to find the stripy shirt.
Yes. Poor
David. This is how I get dragged into more costumes.
Yeah, half of them are actually Kelly's fault. I just run with it.
You know what? Most things are my fault, so I'm okay with it. I am a bad influence or a good influence, depending on, who you ask. But this photo is by Lacey Clegg, who is one of our frequent photographer collaborators. She's so talented. We love her.
She did my wedding.
Yes.
So, was this at the park down the street from us?
No, this was at a park in like Carmel. No, it was in Brownsburg.
Okay, yeah. So we drove a good distance to this park on like the one day we actually had snow on the ground.
Yeah, we kept putting it off because we would think we would have snow. We would get it all scheduled out. And then it wouldn't snow or it wouldn't stick to the ground to the point that our photographer was like, if I have to Photoshop snow on every tree and the whole ground, we're going to make this costume happen this year. So I'm wearing a different Ramona costume in that one. For this one, I didn't feel like putting on all the layers of sweaters and leggings and stuff because it's, hot. So I'm doing that hair with her dress from one of the last scenes of the movie. But
I will say cosplaying as a Canadian in the winter is definitely convenient.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all that we uploaded for your pictures. So you survived. And we got a few submissions. So this one is from Alex, Alexandra Akane _snapshots.98. She is posing here with a few of our friends. So there's Brendan doing his Nightcrawler. So Gingy we met cosplay. And then there's my friend Anthony Vernon doing Rick with her Evie. So Anthony is Paley. Let me double check his Instagram handle because I want to make sure that you all follow him. Anthony is going to be my Clark Kent at Fan Expo. We're going to do the Superman and Lois version of Clark and Lois. Okay, so he is Paley 356. And then this is her doing Mara Jade and Luke. And I forget the handle of that person. We will make sure to get that person's handle before we repost these.
Mm-hmm. Alex, and we should do Mara Jade and Mara Jade side by side with our Mara Jades. That would be fun.
Yes, absolutely.
And once I get my Mandalorian bounty hunter set up, then I could be arresting you guys.
Yes. And so here is Andrea's groups. So I know she has her panty and garter and stocking.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Okay.
Panty and stocking and garter. Yeah.
Okay. So garter is King Duppy. They talked him into it. And that is the genius behind both our new theme song and our old theme song. And he was kind enough to let me put my crappy vocals over his music. So, and then who, I know Andrea told me who it was on top. I am sorry. I do not have it together.
I remember her talking about this group shoot before too, and I can't remember anybody's names, like any of what's.
Oh, so the group shoot on top is her brother Brad. And
I didn't recognize him. This is from a while ago. And I've only met Brad once, so you know.
Yep. And then here is Mark Desjardins, who we adore, King Beast 1354. And so I'm going to read his email or his message to us because he has a really nice story behind this. So he was talking about how about 10 years ago, his then fiance, now wife, Ashley, got hooked on cons and cosplay. And so one night she was watching My Little Pony and trying to think of couples cosplays for Gen Con. And she had just got him into watching it. So he wasn't the biggest fan yet. And he's shooting out idea after idea. And she's just shooting each one down. And he sees that she's watching My Little Pony and mentions that both of their favorite characters, Pinkie Pie, his, and Fluttershy, hers. And he thought she'd just shoot it down like the rest. Instead, he hears silence, and then I can see us doing that. So he talked himself into a corner, and he didn't want to shoot down her interest in cosplay, so he needed to get used to wearing pink for a day. So his thoughts on gender roles were very different then. But he went through with it and had a blast. So he would say that was the real kickstart to their cosplaying and gender bending, cross play. And then cut to today, and he still hasn't learned his lesson. So he mentioned doing full crossplay for their Pride Festival, My Little Pony again, kind of as a joke. And guess what he hears? I can see this happening. Let's do it. As head, he just hears F me. Am I right?
I mean, Mark, your Celestia is beautiful, okay? And Ashley looks really great. I can't remember the other pony that is the sister's name because it's been a long time since I saw Friendship is Magic, but you both look... No, that's in the top one.
Okay.
The one to the right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't. But he says, so thankfully they had good friends that did his makeup and helped make it not look silly. And now he has a cosplay that's one of his personal bests and one of his favorites. He's so proud of it. And he should be because he looks gorgeous. Like that cosplay is just absolutely stunning. And I just love, like, this is a great story.
Princess Luna. That's what I thought. Mark just came into the comments and Ashley is Princess Luna. I almost thought it was Luna, but then I was like, I don't know. Am I mixing it up with Sailor Moon? Because That's the dark black purplish cat with the, you know, same concept.
You've got your brain's pretty much full of Sailor Moon and Pokemon.
All day, every day.
It's fair. And then speaking of my partner made me do it, here is my husband. He does exist, y'all. These are all older pictures because it's been a while since I've gotten him to do a cosplay, mostly because he's been really sweet and been home with the kids when I go out and play at cons. So I talked him into Green Arrow a couple years. I talked him into being my Clark Kent. I talked him into doing the Riddler we did one Halloween that was basically villains crashing the Batcave. Oh, we are getting... He exists! Look at my handsome man.
We've got both husbands in one episode. Y'all are truly blessed tonight.
Also not a deep fake. All right, honey, I'm going to put the headphones on you. Do you want to say hi? No, you don't want to say hi?
No, just stopping by.
So, yeah, we either have the really, really good deep fake technology working this episode, or we actually have husbands that exist. Yeah, so Thomas spends a lot more time behind the camera. Thanks, babe. Spends a lot more time behind the camera for the Phoenix Sisters stuff. He takes a lot of my solo pictures.
He took our Sailor Moon photos and like Sailor Mars and Sailor Venus. Mm-hmm. And that was one of my dream shoots, was finally getting to do Sailor Venus. And Kelly already had the starry backdrop. And we were just like, let's make it happen.
Yeah. Buying up backdrops has been kind of a game changer, because as much as we love doing shoots on location, that is not always feasible.
It's so time consuming. Like the extra step of like getting there and the logistical questions of, do you get dressed before, or do you put part of it on and put the rest of it on in the parking lot? Like sometimes we don't have the spoons. So.
And when Crayle is visiting me, there's the extra step of, okay, if Thomas is our photographer, we have to get a babysitter for my kids.
Mm-hmm. But
if he's not our photographer, then we have to find a local photographer, coordinate schedules with them during this small window of time that Crayle is here. It's a lot.
And even when you're here, like David works on the weekends 12 hours every Saturday and Sunday. So it's like we have to go meet him somewhere right after work to still have sunlight.
Which we have done.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Our Supergirl and Batgirl. Yeah.
Jinx. I like that we each set our character first.
You know,
we have our priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Drop a note in the comments whether you're Team Batgirl or Team Supergirl.
It's the same team. They're like together.
I don't care. I want to know which one is people's favorites.
Okay.
And if it's not Batgirl, no, I'm kidding.
It's gonna be Supergirl. You're just gonna be disappointed. It's Supergirl.
I mean, Supergirl's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Batgirl's also pretty awesome.
All right. So, lost my train of thought there. It's been a long day. I've been up since 3:30, basically.
Yeah. I had the plant mom equivalent of a GI party today. So David was in the Army, and I was talking about how I had to get Q-tips out and dip them in water, baking soda, dish soap solution, and wipe off the under and top side of every leaf of a bunch of my succulents, like over 100 of them today, because I had a powdery mildew infestation. I broke quarantine protocols with one new succulent 2 months ago, and I've been paying for it. And so finally I was just like, I'm going to wipe off every single leaf. And if they're still infected after that, whichever ones are still infected have to go in the trash. And so David came home and I was like, can you imagine doing all this with a Q-tip? And he goes, yeah, kind of, I could. And I was like, oh, right, you were in the Army. It's probably close to some Army cleaning thing they made you do, and then had a cutesy name for it with party at the end. And he was like, yeah, it's a GI party.
That sounds terrible.
It is. GI party means everything comes out of the room like a barracks room, every single item that is removed has to be cleaned individually, and then you can put your room back together. It is an all-day affair, and it is a punishment. But your room is going to be clean afterwards. And it only happens when it's not when it starts.
Today I learned.
Yeah.
You learned how lucky you were. You didn't know there was a word for that.
I am going to take this information because there is an army recruiter who's going to be across the aisle from the Chicagoland Cosplay Creations booth. I'm going to take that information. I'm going to shout it at every person who goes there.
Don't do it. They'll make you go to GI parties. They're not as fun as they sound.
The pizza parties aren't great either.
Does not surprise me.
Yeah, just Google.
What is pizza party code for? Do I want to know?
Oh, no, it's not dirty. It's just not fun.
It's code for crappy pizza.
No,
it's code for everybody gets all happy, and then oh wait, no, we're not having pizza. We're gonna sweat until the walls drip, and yeah,
and
it's not fun. It's always a punishment. Also,
if you do something especially stupid, sometimes there's a pizza party just for you.
Oh boy. I wouldn't last 2 days in the army. Let's be real.
Speaking of which, somebody in the commenters knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Your people.
John Smith says, David, new friendship goal. We do a John and Tormund cosplay. You should! Obviously, Smith is going to be Tormund. Smith has like the red beard and hair already. So,
yes.
you'll have to be Jon Snow.
Yep. He was the best man at my wedding. He's been my best friend for years. So
he was so sweet for our wedding. Like, he was like, do you want me to like cut my hair? Or like, what do I do about my tattoos? And we were like, we don't, just like take a shower, man. Like, we don't care. But
the people who have their wedding party cover up their tattoos confound me, because it's like, that's a part of them. I don't understand.
Yeah. Braden James Connor says, OMG, ugh, my full body armor requires an assistant, and you better pee before first. Like a wedding dress.
Exactly.
Lots of cosplays are like that.
I feel this. I feel this in my soul. When I'm planning a cosplay, I will literally alter it so I can pee. I'll be like, oh, it's a one-piece bodysuit in the source material. How do I build in a way to make it two-piece so I can pee? Because
the trick to that is almost always, if there's a belt, put the belt over it and make it be a shirt and pants.
Pretty much always. That is my go-to. Or just make it be a shirt and pants and don't care.
Or
because
that,
you know what? I'm too old. I'm too old to care.
Yeah. Jonathan
I'm just
Smith
like, at
says,
this point.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, at this point, I just don't care. But yes. Recruiters are
says,
evil.
Recruiters are evil.
He was a recruiter.
Oh. You know what? My agreement still stands.
He would know.
He's performed. The government is going to come snipe us now, aren't they?
I'm pretty sure they already know where I live.
I'm pretty sure. And then when you and I consolidated households, they were just like, oh, that makes our job so much easier. Now we only have to watch one address.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've avoided being on a watch list before this episode. So
I don't know.
Not anymore.
Probably not. You and I are pretty close.
Yeah. I don't know. And I've read, like, it's hard to tell what's true and what's not, but I've read that some of the like things that qualify people to at least get checked on by like the NSA and other agencies are so like, one of the ones that was the most ridiculous I'd heard was that they were combing text. And if you mentioned the state of Texas too many times when you didn't live there, they did like preliminary checks, is something I read years ago. And I was like,
to be fair, I've met quite a few Texans and I get it.
Fair.
The most recent one was if you're Catholic and you go to Latin Mass, that apparently is a thing that they're watching for some reason. Apparently, if you like Latin, there's something wrong with you.
Poor Hollis.
Oh, this episode is going to a weird place.
I mean,
probably
we got
get...
David on.
That's what you get.
But you know what? We're running out of time. So back to cosplay. David, even though this is all about cosplays Crayle made you do, if you could do any cosplay, what would you do?
Right, Mandalorian.
Yes.
Not the Mandalorian. I'm working on a Mandalorian OC. So I'm gonna have fun with the painting of it all, and by that I mean Crayle's gonna have fun with painting it, and I'm gonna have ideas for how it should be painted because I am not artistic enough to do it myself.
I'll help paint. I like painting.
Well, there's gonna be a lot of it to do apparently, so I'll take all the help I can get. But that is my big that's my big goal right now.
Nice. And if you could make Crayle do any cosplay, what would you make her do?
Oh.
Haha.
Bo-Katan.
Okay.
Yes, I could see that. You'd rock Bo-Katan.
I look nothing like Katie Sackhoff. I don't know if like
with the helmet on, you look just like her.
Oh, you know.
That's the beauty of the helmets. Also, it's not that you have to look just like her, but
no, but in my mind, I'm like, Katie Sackhoff is Bo-Katan now, even though I've seen animated Bo-Katan plenty of times. Like,
that's
a
good choice, though.
I don't look that much like Catherine Winnick either. And once I got enough costume pieces on for Lagatha, it was like, you know,
you became Lagatha.
Like we really should have put pictures of Lagatha in there to show off his shield building skills. They're really good.
I'm really proud of that shield. I was happy. I made a circle out of wood.
Making a circle out of wood is way harder than it sounds.
It's so difficult. But it's worth it in the end when it comes out right. And I also did a lot of research in how shields are made by Vikings for real. And I took that and said, well, that's way too much work. And decided to use modern carpentry techniques like glue and routers. Routers are nice. And yeah, my dad and I, it took a few different like weekends, but we got it together.
It is. Oh, Katie. Yeah, Kelly pulled it up. So there it is. All those pit marks. I took a hatchet and he held the shield and we just went at it.
It is technically a functional shield in the sense that it will block a blow.
Yep. And again, check our TikTok. Watch that video.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was not wearing closed-toed shoes. Do not do it that way at home. Were we wearing iPro?
No.
Okay. Well,
no, you were.
I was. You weren't. Well, if you do decide to battle damage stuff at home, wear closed-toed shoes and eye protection at the very least. Like, yeah, no, do not do it the way we did it. We were.
I feel like we should have put a warning.
Disclaimer.
I just said something to someone on Instagram where he was like busting up some wood and he had shorts on and no protective gear and the wood was flying everywhere. I was like, protective gear? No. I'm like, because I have monthly safety meetings with my job and we get like safety reminders emailed to us almost like twice a week. And I'm like, no, safety gear. And he's like, if it makes you feel better, I at least use a respirator every time I'm like spraying stuff. I'm like, okay, that does make me feel a little better. But also go hydrate. Gotta cosplay mom.
So the fact that I tried to talk David into taking me axe throwing in a dress and a backless shirt the other day would give you a panic attack. Like a skirt.
Why did you tell me that? That's just mean. Safety gear.
We couldn't because we wouldn't have had time to get back before he had to go to bed. Not because I wasn't dressed right.
Yeah, that checks out.
Brendan James Connor says, I can give you some ideas for your Mando bucket. Check me out. My style breaks the regulations. when I get him to make mine after he finishes his, I think I'm gonna have one that super breaks the regulations also, because I want to do like a super girly like Barbie My Little Pony one, and there's a way to do that in regulations, but I want to go like glitter on all of it.
I think that might still work. That
Well-
there's what the Mandalorian. Oh boy, I'm forgetting the acronym. But the Mando cosplay club, the regulations are
Mercs.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what, I totally said that. The regulations are more about the armor style, as in the size and shapes of plates, not so much.
So you're saying
how
I have to
you
make it a
paint 'em.
bikini to get out of regs?
That would do it.
Okay, all right. Barbie Mando bikini. I'm gonna do it.
I want to see that. Heck yeah.
Jonathan Smith says, BTW, amazing work and outstanding research. However, Vikings is close to Game of Thrones. Just saying. He's gonna make you do this. He is.
I mean, I need to dust off my shield making skills, but we can do this.
Although, if y'all want snow for it, John, you're gonna have to come up here.
No, he's in Colorado now.
Oh right, you're in Colorado, so it could go either which way. 16-hour drive. We've done it so many times. It's your turn. Your turn.
We used to drive from Colorado to Indiana, every few months or so?
Yeah, like every 3 months.
We just drive
He's
through the
all
night.
about this. Didn't Jon Snow throw an axe? If not, you should make that happen. Jon Snow.
This Jon Snow can throw an axe. We'll do that way.
Right.
I'm here for it.
And Braden Connor says, I'm in. I'd do a Barbie Mando helmet for you. My teen girl won't let me. She doesn't know how cool you are for trying to do things like that for her. Teenagers don't get it. Like, it's just because you're their parent, they think whatever you're doing is super lame. Like,
teenagers are supposed to be embarrassed by their parents. That's how it works.
I know,
It's a natural order.
And then they get older and they're like, oh, wait, this is really cool. Or their friends are like, why are your parents so cool? And they're like, no, they're not. Ew. Like, why do you think my parents are cool? That's not fair. Why do you think my parents are cooler than me? That's really not fair.
I kind of had an opposite thing of that. My dad, like, if I was by myself, I could just like walk as far as I could walk. I could just go. I could do it. If it wasn't dark and I didn't meet up with anybody he didn't know or that I have permission to, like, the list of places I could go and stuff I could do was all up to my own endurance, right? And my parents would all be like, your dad is so strict. And my dad was like, I'm really not. I was like, it's because of the flip-flop rule. That my dad was very serious that I wasn't allowed to wear flip-flops outside of the house and yard. And that just turned into a whole thing in my friends' minds where they were like, he's so controlling. And I was like, yeah, he is. And my dad was like, what?
So, on a totally unrelated note, since we're towards the end of the episode, I'm going to give both of you, but really David, the floor to give some advice.
I can hop out of the frame somehow.
No, you can't. I won't let you.
There we go.
So, David, what sort of advice would you give to someone who wants to get into cosplay or someone who wants to avoid getting roped into cosplay by their partner?
I would say just go for it. It's fun. You end up with a lot of fun, crazy stories. We're all nerds deep down. Might as well just, let your freak flag fly and have fun with it.
Nice. I am here for it.
Yeah, the camera's all shaky because he was using his feet to try to pull me back into the frame.
So real quick, I want to give a little shout out to so I will be at Crayle's Pokeballs booth most of the weekend for Fan Expo, but I will also be putting in some appearances at the Chicagoland Cosplay Creations booth, and they have just a super fun schedule planned. They're doing some panels. They have Friday at 11:30 a.m. They're going to do a Pirate Sea Shanty sing-along panel that is a tongue twister. On the red carpet stage at 5 p.m., they're going to do a Super Mario photo shoot in the main lobby. Saturday at 12:30, they're going to do the Spider-Verse shoot, Spider-Verse photo shoot in the lobby. At 5 p.m., they're going to do a Marvel Secret Invasion shoot by the fountains. And then Sunday, August 12th, they're going to do at 11 a.m. a famous creators panel in room 3 where they basically dress up as Tolkien, and I forget which other artists and creators. I think one of them's going to be Walt Disney, and they're going to do some storytelling while cosplaying as those creators. So they've got some really fun stuff planned. Also, definitely come see us at Crayle's booth and buy stuff because Crayle is so talented. I'm just going to quick pop up her Pokeballs. This is where you can find her shop and see what all she has to offer and see all her amazing wares. And one more thing, get your photos ready because in September we are going to be running a cosplay challenge based on our episode themes. So this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be your chance to show off a bit and just kind of challenge yourself to go through old photos, maybe take some new ones, interpret these themes how you like, have fun with it, tag us so we can see what you're doing. And yeah, we've already got this running on our socials, so you can basically save the picture from wherever.
Ooh, we can submit our Scott and Ramona for Cult Classic Day.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That is a cult classic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And apparently they're making an anime Scott Pilgrim sequel or something, I heard.
I'm here for it. I didn't know about that, but that sounds fun.
There's like a graphic novel already out, I'm pretty sure.
More cosplay ideas for the future.
Yes. So, obviously, I already established that David is a man of mystery, but Crayle, where can people find you?
So for any of the Pokeballs stuff on like any social media, if you search at Pokeballs by Crayle, Crayle, just like it is there on the screen, I can direct you from there. I have like a web store and I've got like an event schedule and stuff like that. But if you have questions for that, you can message me, and then the website is Crayle Vanest, so CraylVanest.com. A lot of my like cosplay and podcast stuff is there, but it's all in one place, in the same place with Kelly's stuff on our link tree. So Kelly, you tell us where we can find you, and then I'll let you do the link tree part also.
All right, so our link tree is linktree.com/Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. You can also find me on my website at www.kellyguentner.com, KELLYGUENTNER. That's where you can find all my cosplay podcast stuff, my books, which my audiobook just got funded a few months ago. And so that is full steam ahead. My narrators are turning in chapters pretty much daily. And they're so good, you guys. Everyone who has already chipped in is going to absolutely love it once it releases. And everyone who hasn't chipped in yet, you still can. You just need to shoot me an email and I can definitely get you a copy once it's ready.
Mm-hmm. Are you still doing, people get a digital copy of the second edition of the first book with the audiobook?
Basically, if you send me an email, you can get all the or whatever you want from any of the tiers that were offered on the Indiegogo. I'm pretty sure you can also just go straight to the Indiegogo link and still contribute as though you're buying from it. As far as I understand, the Indiegogo still allows that and still takes funds from people and still allows you to basically select what you want. But if for some reason you can't, just shoot me an email and we'll work it out. You can pretty much get whatever you want.
Yeah.
So other than that, any parting words?
It's your episode.
She made me come.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Enjoy this last ad from our sponsors. please consider purchasing from them. Every purchase using our affiliate link does help the show. So thank you and have a great night.
Cosplay Cafe is sponsored by wadcosplay.com, which is your one-stop shop for quality costumes and cosplay supplies. So click on the link in our show notes to get a 20% off discount. Or not, if you hate saving money. I don't know you. I don't know your life. Clicking on the link does help support our show. So, you know what? Just do the thing. Do the thing.